Well, good morning or good afternoon to everyone, depending on what part of the country you're calling in from. My name is Ginger Bell, and I would like to welcome you to the Non-Delegated Correspondent Lending Made Easy with our FAM Express and Express Plus. Today, we're going to share with you an exciting opportunity for our NDCs to be able to have some of the workload taken off of you as far as working with Finance of America and being an NDC. So as we're getting started today, you're getting logged in. You can listen a couple of different ways. You can either call in or you can listen through your computer. Either is fine. And then you can ask questions. Because we do have so many people on this webinar, we do not have the ability to unmute you. So if you raise your hand, I'm going to say hi to you, but we're not going to be able to unmute you. So you'll have to type your questions in. And how you do that, a couple of different ways you can do it. You can either type in the chat box, which you see on your panel there, or you can type in the Q&A section. Either works. And either we will be able to answer your questions for you. And then we do have handouts. I'm going to post them all for you here. And you can click on any of those links there. We have the presentation. We also have our FAM Express process flow, which we're going to go through, your loan submission form, as well as the Express agreement. And so you can access them there. And then I'm also going to send up a follow-out email. Tomorrow, the email will come to you from me, Belle, and you'll be able to get the links to everything we're going through today. So if you don't click on the links that are in the little chat box there, you'll be able to get those handed to you. And I see we have everyone who has joined today. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you all know how to ask questions. And that way you can type those in there. And then I also want to make sure that you all can hear us and it's not just me having a conversation with myself and Garrett and Raul here. So if you can type in the chat box or the Q&A box, so either one of those works, let me know what part of the country you're calling in from. And let me know how your weather is. I always like to ask that because, well, it's just so different across the country. I am in the Pacific Northwest for the rest of the week, which I'm excited about. And our weather is starting to cool off, although still, yes, very smoky here. I see in Seattle, smoky and warm today. Bay Area, wow, 62. Very, very cool there. But foggy, and hopefully the fires are subsiding in California. I know we still have fires here in Oregon, and that's why we're having a lot of smoke here too. So, but fall is around the corner. You all can hear me, so that's a good thing. And with that, we will go ahead and get started because we do have a lot of information to cover today. So our panelists, Ginger Bell, that's me, with Go-To Training. I work with Finance of America and help them put together all of their training programs. And Garrett Griffin. Garrett is the National NDC Correspondent Manager. And Raul Bada, who is the Regional Area Manager. And so thank you both for joining us. Raul, I know you just got on shortly. You're just finishing up on another call. So I want to check your mic real quick to make sure that we can
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
We can. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on the mic, so you may want to call in.
I'm going to call in.
Okay. Thanks for that, guys.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Okay, while he's calling in, I'm going to share with you some webinars coming up in September. Now I'm going to mute you. There we go. So we have a first-time homebuyer solutions with Freddie Mac Home One, and that will be on September 11th. We're going to be talking about the Freddie Mac Home One program. And then on September 26th, we're doing a VA Strong webinar on building home ownership for those who serve. And that will go through not only the basics as far as VA, but really how to talk to your veterans, a conversation to have, things that, you know, they would know about, the terminology, to be able to have good conversation. So you'll want to register for both of those webinars, and you can register for all of the FAM webinars at www.famuevents.com. And so we're here to talk about FAM Express and FAM Express Plus, and this is for our non-delegated correspondent clients. And it's a great program because it provides lender-prepared closing document solutions. You have a couple of different options with that, but what it does give you is a one-stop shopping solution for your underwriting as well as your documents. And really one of the benefits of being an NDC is having that ability to not have the underwriting and not having to add the staff. And this solution provides that at a very competitive fee structure with no redundant support or document upload. It is a direct system integration to closing documents for accuracy, so it really provides you that. And for our NDCs that are just getting started, it is fantastic because it really gives you that support. First of all, not to have to go out and add any staff. I know that's one of the things, especially if you're just getting started as an NDC, that you don't want to have to do that. And then also knowing that someone who knows what they're doing in terms of preparing those documents is not only preparing them, but also looking for that accuracy. It provides a commitment to service levels with a service level guarantee with fast CDs and documents. And it really is a great opportunity to be able to help those who are, again, just becoming NDCs, or for those of you NDCs that want to be able to have a fulfillment service provided for you. So, Garrett, I'm going to let you kind of give us a little bit of an overview as far as what FAM Express provides for our NDC partners.
Thanks, Ginger. Overwhelmingly, our NDC partners had been asking, hey, do you have a closing solution for us? And so with a lot of cooperation and help from our senior management, we put together FAM Express. And so basically it's one-stop shopping to include compliance review of the documents, document preparation. We'll prepare the closing CD, initial and balance it. We'll actually prepare the wire request. We can authorize disbursement of funds and delivery and purchasing coordination. There's two different processes, and we'll get into in a minute. That's the FAM Express Plus, includes all of those services, or we can offer a lighter version with just standard FAM Express. But the goal is to have the process simplified so the order can be placed essentially through our system. All documents that exist in our system don't have to be redundantly uploaded to a fulfillment provider. And you have one-stop shopping from cradle to grave. So we're really excited to be able to roll this out to our customers, and the customers that have been using it absolutely love the process.
And really it is being about a part of the team. And so Raul, I'll let you talk about really what FAM provides as far as the team.
FAM's going to assist you throughout the process, and they're going to be able to step in at every step, at every point along the way to help you answer questions. Obviously, as we're doing these steps for you, our goal is to guide you and aid you in the life cycle of your closing so that there aren't any problems when we go to buy the loan from you. Hopefully in doing this, we'll also be able to further strengthen our relationship with your group so that we can, do additional business ongoing and get a bigger market share. But at the end of the day, we're going to be able to step in and offer the compliance assistance that you're looking for so that your loans are more saleable throughout, whenever you're selling a deal, either to us or, the education that you're going to get through us is going to help you with other investors out there as well.
Exactly. And really it's that experience that makes such a big difference too, Raul, of having that combined mortgage industry experience for those who are transitioning. I got a text from someone, actually they came in late on Friday night, and they said, okay, if I become an NDC, do I have to hire underwriters? Do I have to get, someone to do all the closing and everything? And I said, no, that's the great thing about being NDC is, with so many opportunities out there to have a service like this, it really becomes just an opportunity to build your brand, to have all the benefits of being an NDC, and being able to have someone that has that experience be able to help you through the process and handle a lot of that for you. And that's really what FAM Express and FAM Express Plus offers. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and we're going to get into the differences in a little bit further down the presentation. But talking about FAM Express. So FAM Express is a service. You have the opportunity to have your docs prepared. So doc preparation, final CD, your UCD, your compliance check, and then your initial and your clear to close, your initial CDs. So that's under FAM Express. FAM Express Plus offers one step further. So you still get your doc prep, you get your final CD, you get your UCD, your compliance check, your initial CD, but then you also get a comprehensive funding service. And so, that's really one of the things when a lot of people get started, and Garrett, I know that you do so much training on NDCs as far as getting started. That's one of those things that happens after the funding that you need to be able to make sure that the package is prepared and sent to the investor and that everything's in line and all of those checks are on there. So to be able to have FAM not only going through the entire process as far as the doc prep and the CD prep and the compliance check, but also the funding services that happen afterwards is really big. And so,
I like to tell customers that essentially the role of a great fulfillment option is that it's an underwriting function for your loan purchase, right? And so they're going to carefully review all the necessary support documents to make sure the loan was closed, and that first off that the CDs are prepared accurately and the closing docs are prepared accurately, and that everything was performed at closing to meet the requirements for a timely loan purchase. And so that's one of the benefits, is having that extra set of experienced eyes on the entire process, because it ends up helping the customer get the loan purchased quickly and meeting their expectations.
Exactly. So, Raul, I'm going to go through these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we actually have a graph in the next one that will help to go through this. But when you're looking at it as an NDC, why FAM Express is a great option, beginning with number 1, that it's a simple doc fulfillment order, and it's done through the FAM portal, right? Oops. Raul, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Sorry.
It sounded really good what you were saying. We just couldn't hear it.
There we go. So, part of the transition to NDC is, fear of having to go through a different process for doc order or something like that, or, being concerned that you're going to miss it, miss an I or crossing a T or something to that effect. Again, we're going to be assisting you at every step. We're not going to release the CD until it's perfect. But you're going through a similar doc order process as you do today on a brokered loan. The difference is that, the CD is going to go out with your name on it, and we're going to do a bunch of work with title in advance. So at the end of the day, by providing this tool to you, you get the CD, you're still in control of your CD life cycle. So you'll be able to order that at any time that you so choose, which gives you the competitive timelines there. And streamlining the communication, again, it's just one additional business partner that's out there on our team at Finance of America assisting you, making sure that everything's in place. You're not going to be selected to a group of 10 people that might be working on your CD at one point. It's not so that maybe one person started it or something like that. That's not the case. It's going to be just the one individual working on your closing disclosure for you. And again, reducing the redundancy in the documentation set, we're going to get all these things in the package in advance so that when it comes time for sale, majority of these items have already been either cleared up or sorted out, so that, again, it's fewer things to be able to deliver to us to sell the loan. And the same, again, it's item 5 is the same. And item 6, once again, you've got a dedicated group that are issuing the loan documents on your behalf with your name on them and providing you with a service level, and you're not being pushed around robin. You would have a singular point of contact for that step of the process as well. So helpful in every aspect, obviously, when you're making this transition and as you're growing your business, right? You want to know that you're going to have the consistency out there with the platform. It makes it repeatable and executable time and again. And by cutting down the purchase time, by adding this documentation set at the front, we're going to help buy those loans off your line faster, again, saving you money on the interest-bearing piece. So.
Right. Well, and this is one of those things too, as a service, that first of all, you're not going to have a cost unless you use it, right? And second of all, it is a good fill-in too. So maybe you do have someone that prepares your closing documents and does, your fulfillment and orders your wire and does all of that. But maybe they go on vacation, or maybe they leave, or they go on maternity leave, or something happens. And so rather than being in a situation where you have to hire someone else, train someone else, this is a great opportunity for you to use this if you're not even using it all the time, but using it some of the time too, depending on what your needs are in your business. And so it's really like having a partner in your business without having to have that cost of a full-time staff in order to get the services done. So depending on, if you get really busy, or you slow down, or you take time off, or, you hire someone new, it helps to be able to manage them. So let's go through the flow. And I'm a very visual person. And so Garrett, I know when we put this together, it was to be able to kind of give an idea as far as the different flow as far as the process. And so we're starting on everything looking at an NDC not using FAM Express or Express Plus. And you see our icons down here. The yellow represents what the NDC is responsible for doing. And then we have our FAM Express services, which is obviously underwriting. So, everything's the same for the NDC, taking the application, processing, underwriting. When we get to closing, that's where things change. So when you look at closing, an NDC not using FAM Express, the NDC is responsible for the closing. Whereas the NDC using FAM Express, they are responsible for some of those fulfillment services. Whereas with the FAM Express Plus, FAM's going to actually take over doing all of those. And then we get into funding, and we see, again, that the NDC, with not using the FAM Express, is responsible for some of those funding responsibilities, as well as the warehouse lender. And the same with the Express, whereas the Express Plus, they are not responsible for doing that. So they're going to be able to have the support in doing that. When we get into the loan delivery, and that's where we see the biggest difference. And Garrett, this is where a lot of people, especially if you're just getting started as an NDC, you're not used to doing this. So having that help going through this process makes a big difference in this part, right, Garrett?
Absolutely. What we've done, as my friend Jim Dunkerley at First Funding likes to say, the manufacturing process remains the same, right? It's who has responsibility through the process to make sure that it's done in a timely manner, it's accurate, it's compliant, and that it can be purchased. And so you can see that in the FAM Express Plus, much more of the colors are blue, reflecting that FAM Express is taking over that part of the functionality and FAM is the investor is, as opposed to not using FAM Express or Express Plus. It's more yellow, the NDC's got more responsibility. Going into regular FAM Express, they've got less responsibility. And then finally using Express Plus, they have the minimum amount of direct responsibility and accountability. So this does a great job of graphically demonstrating the roles and responsibilities of all the parties involved in the closing and purchase transaction.
Right. So let's talk about what's needed for getting started with FAM Express. So we have the FAM Express process flow. And so it's important for an NDC to familiarize themselves with this document, right, Garrett?
Absolutely. The process flow takes the customer through the step-by-step, what they can, it sets expectations, it takes them step-by-step through the responsibilities and the timeline of an Express Plus transaction.
And then there is a FAM Express agreement, and then the statement of work.
We ask each customer to execute the agreement and statement of work. Your account executive can get that to you. Once we've received that executed in 2 places, we can forward that to the approval committee, and usually it's same day or the next day to have it approved.
Right. And that's a one-time thing, so they don't have to do that for every
single once they've done that, they don't have to do it again. That's correct.
Right. Now, I know you're a Texas boy, so Texas loans are a little bit different, right?
Yep, we are an attorney state where an attorney has to have some specific responsibility in regard to the closings. And so FAM Express is set up where the customer can retain that review functionality directly. We have some strategic relationships for very competitive pricing. Again, if you contact your FAM AE, we can guide you in the direction to get you the best possible deal.
Right. And then with Express Plus, the wire services are always included. And, you know, Garrett, this is one of the most common questions that I get when somebody starts out as an NDC. They don't realize, because some warehouse wholesale lenders actually just say it's exactly the same. Well, NDC is not the same as being a broker, and we know the NDC is responsible for ordering that wire, right?
Correct. So the NDC, we basically can prepare in the FAM Express Plus, we'll actually comprehensively prepare the wire request. That's obviously the most difficult part of the process. And the NDC literally just has to hit send, and that wire is ordered.
Right. So submission form, obviously you need that, and then the FAM Express request, which is completed through the FAM portal as soon as the loan is locked and approved, correct?
Yeah, so currently there's a FAM Express submission form. I know there will be a new one added to our portal soon. In the meantime, the account executive can get you the FAM Express FAM submission form. It has some FAM Express information on it as soon as you're approved. And then, yes, once you're in the FAM Express, once you're approved, you can order directly out of our portal. There's actually a menu option at the top that says FAM Express.
Right. So, Garrett, we have a question in from Mario that wants to know if Focus Fulfillment is partnering with FAM to create FAM Express because they currently use Focus.
That's correct. FAM is doing the lion's share of the work, but Focus is, we partnered with Focus to do part of this as a strategic partner. Right.
So different from Focus, but still utilizing part of the services. So, so Mario, that's a great thing. If you're already familiar with Focus, then you already know the expertise that they provide, and that's one of the reasons, obviously, that FAM is partnered with them. So let's look at the submission form and where you find it. Beginning with logging into the FAM portal, you want to use your NDC credentials, and then go to Resource Central, Loan Forms, Submission Forms to download the NDC submission form. And then from there, you'll complete the submission form. You want to be sure to select the boxes for your desired FAM Express services. And so if it's determined that you need FAM Express services after you've submitted the loan, you need to just let your CSR know at least 7 days prior to your anticipated closing and signing date. So again, maybe something comes up. Maybe you have someone that does this for you, but you know, they're in an accident or something happens, and so you need to be able to say, hey, I need to get this done and it's not going to be me. Then you just need to go 7 days prior to closing to make sure that everything can be prepared for that. And then when you're looking at your FAM Express requests, when and how do you submit? And Raul, I'll let you cover part of this as far as when they want to be able to go through the process as far as submitting their loan, beginning with requesting on the FAM portal when they need to do this.
Right. So, you know, when are you going to do this? Obviously, you've got to have an approved loan that's also locked. Same policy as we do on the broker side here. And the only other piece is that you have to have trailed to us that the final loan estimate has been received by the borrower. So either that means basically we have to have notated it in our file internally. And so you'll work with the CSR on that to make sure that the final loan estimate's been sent. And then how are you going to do that? You know, through the portal, we have the tab inside each loan for FAM Express, and you complete the form there, and then you request our services. Again, super easy, not a whole lot different than what you're doing today. The difference being that it's on you as the NDC to make sure that that final loan estimate's been sent and that we're meeting the timing of that document. And it's been trailed into our system and documented on our side as well.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of the required documents. Garrett, I'll let you go through this as far as what the NDC needs to submit with the FAM Express request.
Okay, I will, again, anything that resides in our system, that was part of the underwriting package does not have to be sent. So this is a comprehensive list of the documents that are reviewed in any transaction. So obviously insurance, invoices, settlement statement, the NDC issued LEs and CDs, MERS number and verification, closing protection letter, E&O, and wiring instructions for the closing agent. Obviously the CPL, and wiring instructions are only required for the fulfillment. And then for the CD prep, obviously we need the preliminary title report, the tax bill insert, purchase agreement, the flood cert, the shoppable provider list, a case number, SOM and MI cert or conditional commitment. Again, if any of these are in our file as part of the underwriting, so for example, the flood cert always is, you do not have to duplicate anything that exists in our system. Our FAM Express customer service team will grab those documents and put them in the fulfillment doc order folder. And so there's no extra redundancy in uploading it. And then obviously they have to be in the file for the doc preparation or the appraisal, if there's a power of attorney or a trust agreement, payoff statements, and it's in 04D. And all of this stuff, of course, is as applicable. And again, I'm going to reiterate a third time. If it already exists in the underwriting package, you do not have to upload it again.
Right. So we have a bit of the file flow, and this is, again, we talked about acquainting yourself with the process flow, which is a great checklist and goes through what you need to do prior to submission, what your FAM Express request looks like, the steps to go through there, what you need for your CD, for your closing docs. And so that's all explained in the process flow, which we're not going to go through here. But if you're looking at just kind of a highlight, this is how the file flow goes, starting with your pre-closing and what FAM Express services offers, and then what they offer as far as closing and post-closing. So, Garrett, the biggest differences on this go through really not just the pre-closing, but the closing and then what happens after closing, right?
Right. I mean, on the FAM Express Plus, the Express stream is going to coordinate the collateral delivery. They're going to coordinate the delivery of the closed loan package. They're going to manage any post-closing steps that need to get the loan purchased, and then they're going to audit the purchase advice and make sure that it's correct on behalf of the customer.
Right. So if you're just getting us started as an NDC, this is a great way for you to be able to see how this works. And then as your team gets familiar with doing this, then you can say, okay, we don't want the Express Plus service. We're just going to go with the Express service. And so it gives you that opportunity to really get started as an NDC without having to know everything that happens through the entire flow.
And another thing that's important is the coordination piece that talked about in FAM Express. So they're going to coordinate the closing and, again, prepare that wire request so the customer just has to press send.
Right. It's also important to remember, too, Garrett, that you're an NDC. So even though this is being prepared for you, you're still responsible for sending everything to the borrower, right?
Yes. You're responsible for certainly sending the CDs to the borrower. The closing package will obviously be delivered directly to the settlement agent.
Right. But as far as, the communication, and again, that's part of the benefit of being an NDC, is being able to have that communication and have that control and to be able to be the lender and have that branding expertise, right? So it's not a matter of FAM sending that to the borrower, it's you sending that to the borrower.
Right. And the FAM Express process is we're acting as your closing department as the NDC, right? But you're responsible for communicating timelines and coordination of the events because you're the lender.
Right. So let's kind of go through the process as far as the expedited service level agreement. And so the first thing is you're going to submit your FAM Express request. FAM CSR team is going to scrub the file for minimum requirements. And then the results of that scrub will be sent to the NDC within 4 business hours. Any received missing items will be reviewed within 2 business hours. And then the CSR will alert the NDC once all minimum requirements have been met and the file has been assigned to a closer. And so then you look at, okay, closing docs. Are the key minimum requirements there? That the underwriter has advanced status as far as you're clear to close, and that the ND is provided as far as proof of delivery of the initial CD. So this, to me, as far as timeline, is incredible, Garrett, to be able to say, okay, I have a team that's working with me that's going to say, we're going to take a look at it, we're going to send you what's missing, and then I just need to let you know, hey, yep, we've sent the initial CD, which obviously starts our timing, right? And then the closer will have the CD prepped, delivered to the NDC by 2 p.m. Pacific time the following business day. And then if there's any corrections that are requested by the NDC, then they'll be processed within 4 business hours once they receive them. And then the next step, the NDC must alert FAM of anything, a change of circumstance, any event that requires a corrected CD. And then CDs will be processed by 2 p.m. Pacific time the following business day. So that puts you through a very tight timeline, Garrett, of being able to really have control over that CD and getting to closing, right?
And being able to set very clear expectations with borrowers, real estate agents, and referral sources, right?
Right.
So if you've got these service level agreements in place with your provider and you've adhered to what your responsibility is, you absolutely have a very firm outcome of when you're going to be able to close your loan.
Right. And that is so valuable. That is so important to be able to and you know, with the relationships you have with your real estate agents today are so important to be able to keep those intact and to be able to know that FAM is committing to be not only a partner and making sure that this is done, but really giving that service level agreement and saying, we're going to see you all the way through this and let you know what you're missing, where we're at, and the timelines. So you don't go into the black hole wondering what's going on, right?
Absolutely. Again, you've got very set service level agreements in here, so you know exactly where you stand. So obviously it's important to allow enough time from when you receive your clear to close to go through the functions that you need to get your CD out and to get your closing docs delivered.
Right. So then, you know, once we have that final CD, then the closer will draft the documents and deliver them, you know, if it's an attorney state or a title settlement company, by 2 p.m. Pacific time the following business day. Corrections requested by the attorney or title settlement will be processed within 4 business hours. And then the closer will schedule the closing with the settlement company or title and when balancing the CD, and then obviously suggested to make sure that if there are any changes, a minimum of 3 business days are made prior to anticipated the closing date. And we have the 3-day requirement anyway for the CD. But this gives you that peace of mind of knowing, hey, when I start this process, this is what's going to go into place. You just need to make sure, obviously, if there are changes that happen or corrections that need to be made, that you're communicating those. But having that team in place of people who know how to do this, that have the experience to do this, is just a peace of mind.
Absolutely.
So Garrett, I'm going to let you tell a little bit about the advantages of working with Finance of America as an NDC. If you do have any questions, please type those in there, and I see some questions coming in. So Garrett, I'll let you talk about this, and I'll take a look at our questions to key up.
So, you know, one of the things at FAM, we have a dedicated non-delegated correspondent team from underwriters all the way through our loan purchase team. And I like to share we're the direct communication lender. In the world of automated underwriting, you have a very, very, very good idea whether the loan's approvable. It gets to do you understand the conditions that have been issued, or is there alternative documentation in lieu of what was specifically asked for? And we believe that if you can speak directly to an underwriter with those questions, it's the most expedited form of moving your file into a clear to close. So it's real easy to work with us. Our system is very straightforward. You're uploading documents and creating a loan file takes minutes. And again, we have dedicated NDC underwriters, and they're focused on a simple loan purchase approval so that there's virtually no prior to funding conditions to get your loan purchased as quickly as possible.
Excellent. So we do have a question in as far as And I'm going to go ahead and, Kyle, I see you answered it. It was great. I'm going to actually ask it so that we can answer it for everyone, because I'm sure a lot of people want to know as far as when you can order, when you can send the CD to the client. Do they have to wait for Clear to Close to send the CD?
They do not.
They do not.
They can, once their loan is locked and approved, they are able to get their CD ordered, and we are happy to work with them on that.
So, and again, that goes into timing. So you can get that clock, going, because we all know there's 3 days. So FAM does allow for early issuance of the CD for an NDC. So once the loan is locked and approved, so those two things need to happen. And then the other thing to remember, and this is just a compliance side, you need to remember, as an NDC, you cannot send a loan estimate out once that CD has been sent out. So a couple of things to remember as far as compliance. And again, it's good to have a team that's going to help you through this, that the loan estimate and the CD cannot, the final loan estimate and the CD cannot be sent on the same day. So if you're sending a final loan estimate out, then you have to wait a day to send out the closing disclosure. And you need to make sure that once you send the closing disclosure out, that you do not again send a loan estimate out. So those are little things. And again, having the support of FAM, Express, and Express Plus to be able to help you through that, to have someone to call to guide you through it, is so important. So if you have any other questions, you can talk to your Finance of America account executive, and they can help you through the process as far as getting started. You can locate all of the forms on the FAM portal, and so if you need help in doing that, contact your Finance of America account executives. I will be emailing out a link to everything that we went through today. It'll come in an email tomorrow along with the recording. So if you have someone that didn't get a chance to listen to this, you can send them a copy of the recording, or you can listen to it again if you'd like to. But remember, we do have webinars every month. And next month we have 2 webinars scheduled right now that I'm excited about. First is the First-Time Homebuyer Solutions with Freddie Mac Home One, which is a great solution, especially for our first-time home buyers and our millennials who maybe make too much money to qualify for some of the down payment assistance programs or other programs out there. So we'll be talking about that program, and that's on September 11th. And then we have a VA Strong webinar, Building Homeownership for Those Who Serve, September 26th, and we're talking about terminology, how to talk to veterans, things like that. So if you have any other questions, by all means, let your Finance of America account executive know. And we want to thank all of you for joining us today, Garrett and Raul, and I know Kyle, you're in the background there, but I want to thank you for your expertise. Great program that FAM offers with the FAM Express and Express Plus for our NDCs. So thank you so much for your information today.
Okie dokie. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.